Hi, welcome back to McClutchy Maths. My name is Natalie McClutchy and today I'm going to take you through how to create a residual plot for bivariate data in Excel. Now before I get going, I just want to remind you of different ways that you can engage with us here at McClutchy Maths. Firstly, you could like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll always know when the next video is available. You could consider sharing this in your class OneNote or sharing it with a friend, or even tell somebody about it on Facebook or Instagram. We're there and you can also join us there to learn more about the things we're doing here at the channel. Also, if you found this video helpful and it saved your bacon today, you could consider saying thanks by a $2 donation that's found on the little love heart button on your screen. All right, let's get straight into it. I'm going to be talking about residual plots, but to do that, I've created a data set. In all of my maths classes, I do a weekly quiz, and I've taken the average of my class's quiz marks across several weeks, and this is the results here in this front row of how students have performed on their quizzes. Then I get them to sit their actual exam at the end of the term, and these are their exam results. And I want to see if there's a relationship between quiz results and exam results. So I've plotted that on a scatter plot and come up with a least squared regression line. Okay, so from there, I'm going to do a number of other things if I'm writing an assignment. Firstly, I'm going to calculate the correlation and talk about it. Then I'm going to calculate R squared, the coefficient of determination. And the next step is to create the residual plot. Now, the purpose of the residual plot is to tell us if we have a linear relationship or a non-linear relationship. Now, it seems like a lot of work just to be able to make that one decision, but that is an important decision. And the reason why is that this least squared regression equation follows the form y equals mx plus c, or y equals a plus bx, depending on what variables you're using. That's a straight line equation model. Okay, so if we have a non-linear relationship, this is not an appropriate equation to be using for non-linear relationships. Non-linear relationships have powers, such as y equals x squared or y equals x to the power of 3. So this is not an appropriate model for a non-linear relationship. Now our correlation R, Pearson's correlation coefficient, and R squared, the coefficient of determination, are also only appropriate for linear models. So if we discover after doing all this work and creating a residual plot that we've in fact got a non-linear relationship, that means we can't use our least squared regression line, our equation, for doing predictions. It also means R and R squared are no longer valid. So it does seem like a lot of work to find out one answer, linear or non-linear, but it is an important answer and has big implications. Okay, let's jump over to the next spreadsheet where we're going to create that residual plot. Now what I've put in here is the same information from the previous screen, but you'll notice I've changed the headings because this is our actual quiz mark that happened in actual real life versus our actual exam mark. This is our explanatory variable on the x-axis and our response variable on the y-axis. Now what I'm going to do is use this equation over here to make predictions of the exam marks using the quiz marks, because over here the subject of the equation is y, that's our y variable, our response variable, using our x variable, which is our explanatory variable. So I'm going to use these x values, substitute them into the equation, and find a prediction. Okay, so let's put those in. So firstly I'm going to do equals. Equals tells Excel I'm doing an equation or a formula of some sort. And then I'm going to type this in exactly as I see it. 0.3497 plus 0.4854. And now you will notice this is the coefficient of x. That means this number here is multiplied by x. So I'm going to do multiplication, which is found in Excel using the asterisk button. And then I want it to multiply by my original actual x value. Now rather than typing in 55% and then having to repeat the formula many times, I simply am going to click on that value and press enter, and it will calculate it for me. Now I can click and drag that all the way across, so I don't have to retype this formula however many times. I can simply go into that cell and click and drag it across. What I mean by click and drag is I'm going to hover over the cell and I get a white cross for my cursor, and then I'm going to move that to the bottom corner and it becomes a black cross. And if I click and drag that now, you can see if I click on that last cell that it's the same formula in there, but now it's referencing P. So that will be all the way along. It'll reference whatever value is 2 lines above it, because that's how Excel works. It is able to make those formulas apply all the way across. So you can see that what this is telling me is that if I have a quiz in class and I'm achieving 55% on average in my quizzes, then the model is saying I'm going to achieve 62% in my exam. And maybe that difference is because students are achieving 55% and they think that's not a very good mark. I better study for this exam. So they study and they end up getting a better mark. The model is predicting they're going to get a better mark on their exam. In actual fact, they did even better than that. So the model is under-predicting what's going to be achieved for this particular student. Okay, now I need to calculate my residuals. You remember your formula for residuals is residual equals actual y value take away predicted y value. And the way to remember that is RAP, RAP. Okay, so I'm going to press equals to tell Excel I'm doing a formula again. I'm going to take the actual exam mark this time, the actual y value, take away the predicted exam mark. So you can see there in the box up the top that it's using those cell addresses. And I press enter. And once again, I'm going to click and drag that all the way across. And what I should be seeing here is positive numbers and negative numbers. Now, if we go back to our original scatter plot, I'm going to explain to you what these residuals are in the context of my scatter plot. So here is the model or the equation. My actual values are represented by the dots. So here is this particular dot. This student has achieved about 45% on their quizzes and they've achieved about 55% in the exam. In this case, the model predicts that they should have got about 62% in their exam. So in this particular case, the residual is the difference between where the least squared regression line is, and that's that vertical distance all the way down to their actual grade. Okay, so now I want to be able to graph this residual plot and see if it's a linear relationship or not. So what I'm going to do is highlight that top row, and I hold down my control button, and I'm going to scroll all the way across. So now I've got the first row of my working and the last row of my working selected. And I'm going to create a scatter plot from this. So I'm going to go to Insert, and I've got a drop-down menu here with the little dots. I'm going to select Scatter, and I've created my residual plot. Now I should add in some titles, so I'm going to add some axis titles there. And you might be wondering, what are the appropriate titles to use? Well, the first thing in here is I'm going to type residual plot, because that's what it is. And my title for the axis here will be the exact same title I had over here, average weekly quiz mark. And then on the y-axis is the only thing that's a little bit different because we've actually plotted it versus the residuals. So I'm going to put that in there. Okay, so now that I've graphed that there, I need to make a decision. If I'm writing an assignment or in an exam, I need to make a decision about what kind of relationship I see here. Now, because this is completely random scatter, there is no pattern whatsoever, I can say that this is a linear relationship. And that's what the residuals plot's purpose is to confirm that. I should then go on to say this means that the equation of least squared regression is appropriate to be used as a linear model, and therefore Pearson's correlation coefficient R and the coefficient of determination R squared are also appropriate to be used in this context. Now, what I should also be presenting if I've got an assignment is I should take a snapshot or a snapshot of that using some sort of tool, whether it's a snipping tool or a print screen button. Take a photograph of that, put it in the assignment above the residual plot, because this is the working that supports the graph I've created. I should also show the formulas. The way to do that is to click on formulas and then to click on show formula. And you'll notice that it looks like this. So I want to take a snip, maybe not of the whole thing because that's going to take up a lot of space, but maybe just these first couple of rows, just to show the teacher that I've used the correct formula, I've used the correct least squared regression equation in here, and that I've been able to demonstrate that I can show my working. Now to take that off and to go back to normal numbers, I just click on that one more time. Well, thank you so much for watching McClutchy Maths today. I hope you found this video helpful. If you've got any questions at all, the best place to message us is mcclutchymaths@yahoo.com. Have a wonderful day.